Guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys this dress that someone sent to me. I'm not really sure what the back is, but I'm just going to give you two options of what you can use for the back. You can use a lace up and you can use a zipper, right? So basically this is my back and my front panel. So what I did here is just the same width, the same everything, the same width, the same length, right? That's what I have here, but I'm going to just separate it, and as you can see I ruled the same line on it, right? So I separated it. I'm going to set this aside for the back, use one for the front. Basically the width I have here is just my bust divided by 4 plus extra 4 inches, right? My bust is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5, and then I added extra 4 inches for seam allowance, which I might not use the whole thing. And then my top is starting at 5, and then my top I added my shoulder to waist is at 17, and then I added half an inch of closing up the end, right? So that's basically how I got the length and how I got the width. So now the lines I have here is just me placing my tape at 5, and then I measured my shoulder to my armhole divided by 2, which is going to give me at 10, and this is my chest line. And then my shoulder to my nipple, which is at 12, my shoulder to my under bust, which is at 15.5, and then my shoulder to my waist, which is at 17, and then they have an inch of joining it to the skirt part. So that's basically all the lines I have here: my armhole line, my nipple line, my under bust line, my waistline. So once that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is just to come to the my nipple line, divide my bust, nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half an inch, mark it. Do the same thing on this other line, on my under bust line, and do the same thing on my waistline. So this is 4.5 distance that I marked on all of them. I'm going to connect each one to the other all the way to the end this way, right? And then the next thing I'm going to do is just on this my armhole line, I'm going to do my bust measurement divided by 4. Go ahead and mark that, which is 10.5. And then I'm going to come up to the top of this top here, divide my shoulder measurement by 2, which would normally be 8, but I'm going to subtract 1.5 from it, so that's going to be about 6.5, right? If you have your measurement of your chest right from one side of your armhole to the other, you can insert that here, but I don't have the measurement here. But if you don't have it, all you can do is just use your shoulder measurement, subtract 1.5 from it, or about 1 inch from it. It differs for people. So after that, I'm going to just connect from here to here. So from this point of my bust divided by 4 to this point at the shoulder here. So I'm just going to use this ruler to just connect these two lines together. You don't have to use the ruler, you can just use your free hand to connect it, right? And once you've done that, the next thing I'm going to do now is just to come down here by about 2.5 from this line, from the top part here, and then I'm going to connect it to the nipple line straight this way. And then once you've done that, the next thing is to insert my dart. So I'm going to do 1.5 here. That's distance of 1.5 in between, and then also 1.5 at the top. Connect the two together this way, right? Once you've done that, I'm going to come down 1 inch below on this line, which is somewhere here, and then use a curve to connect it this way. If you want, you can also use your curve ruler, right? So now that that is done, I'm going to go ahead and mark 1 inch on this side, and then 1 inch on this side, on the two sides of this dart. And then I'm going to just go up 1 inch above on this line that came down here. And then I'm going to blend this in. Use your ruler, guys, and then blend it in. This is just basically my dart that I'm trying to rule here, right? Use your ruler to blend it into this line. So once that is done, the next thing you're going to do is this lower line here, extend it a little bit more, and then add back that 2 inches that you used to just to extend the line of this dart, because as you can see, if I cut this now, this side is already looking this way, but you need to extend this one to meet up. So I'm going to extend it a little bit here by, like, let's say 1.5 or so. Once you do that, you mark it. So now or you can do the same 2 inches that you took away here, add it on this to this line here, and then I'm going to go back in now. After dividing my bust by 4, which I've already marked, I'm going to go ahead and put back this measurement that I took away here. Whatever darting measurement you took away here, put it back. So let's say I took 2 inches there, which is 1 inch on both sides, put it back, and then I'm going to also put back 2 inches of sewing allowance here. So basically the length I have here is first my bust divided by 4, which I marked initially, then 2 inches from this darting, mark it, and then 2 inches of sewing allowance, mark it. So now the my new armhole, this line now you're going to connect it to this point. So I'm just going to blend it to this one here, right? This is now my new, the new hand of this dart here is just this one. So that's basically it. So now the next thing I have to do is just come down to my waist, divide it by 4. My waist measurement divided by 4 is 8.5, right? Put back this 1.5 inch here, and then put in 2 inches of sewing allowance. Now I'm going to just connect from here all the way to here, right? So now all I have to do is cut. So I'm going to cut from here. So guys, this is it here. So first you cut out from this top part here, cut this in between, cut out here, cut out the side, and then cut out this center part. So this is what you're left with. Another thing you're going to do to give this neckline this curve that you can see on the picture is to come down here by 1 inch or so, or 1.5, depending on how deep you want your curve to be. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use my ruler to blend it in, right? Just give it a curve, not a sharp like V, but just a curve, so that it will not look square. It will be a little bit flattering on the neckline. So this is basically what I'm going to do here, and then I'm going to just go ahead and cut it out. So this is the neckline. So I have one by the center this way, and then I have one on this side, and then the other one is going to be sewn on this side, you see. So that's basically this top here. So guys, the next thing that I'm going to do now is just to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and sew and cut the back panel. So like I said, the back is the same width. All I'm going to do is to split open this back panel here for zipper allowance. If you want yours to have a zip, like I said initially, right, you have your zipper allowance. First, next thing is to go in here by about 1 inch or 1.5, depending on you, for your zipper. Mark that line, and then the next thing I'm going to do here is just to go ahead and mark distance of my nipple to nipple. Everything is starting from this my new zipper line now. So nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half an inch. Mark it here, also mark it here, and then also mark it down here, right? And then I'm going to go up here again, do the same thing on this my chest line, my bust divided by 4, mark that. And then I'm going to go up here, my shoulder measurement. The back is most times smaller, narrower, right? So it depends on you, or it can be bigger. So try and measure it so that you know what it is. But I'm going to use the 6.5 that I used in front, right? Mark that. And then I'm going to connect this armhole line, this bust to the shoulder, just this way. And once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is just to come down here the same way, but instead for the back I'm going to do at least just 2 inches here, and then I'm going to just blend it into this line, right? Remember the nipple, this distance that we marked here, I'm just going to connect it this way. Guys, it will be better if you do at least 1.5 instead of 2 inches. This will help your dart, because the back doesn't have any bust. So if you keep giving it a curve this way, like let's say you do and it comes down this way, you're already giving it a lot of curve. So it's better to leave it straight this way, right? So you can come down from the tip of this point here to at least 1.5 down, so that the dart is standing a little bit, because there's no bust at the back that you need that curve, because the curve is so that it contains and fits into your bust, right? So I'm just going to make it look almost as if it's standing this way, right? And then the next thing is just to extend it at least 1 inch out of the line, and then blend it back in down here. into this part here, and then all I have to do is just to do my 2 inches of darting, right? 2 inches of seam allowance, because the first line I have here already is my bust divided by 4, which is 10.5 marked, and then plus 2 inches of sewing. The next thing on the waist is waist divided by 4, 8.5, mark that, plus 2 inches of sewing, mark it, and then connect the two together this way. That's basically all I'm doing for this. And then at the back, I'm going to come down 2 inches here, because you want it low, right? So I'm going to just mark 2 inches and connect it down here. Remember, for the front, I didn't make it that low. You can even do more than 2 inches and bring it maybe 2.5 or even 3. It depends on how low you want it to be at the back, and curve in this way, right? And then at the lower back, I'm going to go up by 1 inch to help my zip relax better up here. And then I'm going to connect it to the end of this here. This one is done normally just to help the zip to relax, right? So all I have to do now is just to cut. So guys, this is it here. So basically this is what we're working with. I've gone ahead, cut out this part, cut out this side, cut up this upper part here, cut this one out, cut this out. So this is what you're working with, right? Just this one is longer because of the 1 inch extension of this and blending into the armhole. So guys, like I said, if you want a zipper allowance, this is the zipper. You go ahead, insert your zip, right? But for this one, I'm not going to be using a zipper, right? So I want it to have a strap at the center back on top. There's going to be a zip on the skirt, but there's not going to be any zip on the top. So instead of just cutting away just my zipper allowance here, what I'm going to do is to go in again by extra 1 inch again. Normally this would have been my zipper, right? So I'm going to cut off my zipper allowance, but I'm also going to go in by extra 1 inch. It depends on you how far you want to go in, but just know that the more you're going in, the more open the back would be. But I don't want it to be too open, so I'm just going to go in by extra 1 inch, right? I'm going to just go ahead and mark that now. So I'm going to cut this off. Instead of cutting just the zipper, I'm going to cut this off. Guys, at this point you can stop and just put in your zipper, but I don't want to I didn't see the back the person sent to me, but I want to make the back to be have a strap, because the dress is already too simple. So I just want to have something going on at the back. So guys, this is what we have here, right? So the back is going to look something like this. So the center back here, I'm going to have 1 inch on this side, 1 inch missing on this side, 1 inch missing on this side. So the space I'm going to have might look something like this. And then I'm going to have the back, this one on this side and this one on this side, right? So this is exactly what I'm going to have. So all I have to do is just to go now and sew this way. Take this way, sew it, join it to this side like this. Take this other one, join it to this side, cut out my lining. But before you join it, try to cut out your lining, 2 pieces of this and 2 pieces of this, so that once you join the body together, you also join, let's say this is the lining, you also join it together, and then you join it at the top here. This is where you're going to join the lining and the cloth together. So but before that, let me go ahead and cut mine, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. To cut the skirt, I already have the fabric folded into 2, and then the one for the back also folded into 2 and placed on each other. So basically this is just a simple skirt. I'm going to go ahead on the waist divided by 4. My waist divided by 4 is 8.5. Go ahead and add 2 inches to it. So 1 inch of darting and 1 inch of sewing allowance, and then mark my waist to my hip, which is here, and then the length of the skirt plus extra 1 inch of sewing. So in total I have 22 inches here. So down at the hip, I'm going to the hip divided by 4, which is 12, and then plus 1 inch of sewing. And then you're going to come down here, whatever you have here, which I had 13 here as the total width here. I'm going to come down here and remove 1 inch from it, so I'm going to be left with 12. Come in here and then connect from here to here, but come down at least 2 inches from this point, and then I'm going to connect it from here to here, and then this part with the straight line, and then this other part too. So this is my skirt. Now the next thing I have to do is my dart. Waist nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, mark that, and then come down here, mark 2 inches before my waistline, which is here. And then I'm going to connect it straight down like this for my darts, 1/2 inch on this side and then 1/2 inch on this other side. So that's my darts. Notch it for the 4 sides and then split open the side. So this is it here. I've gone ahead and cut it. So this is my skirt. There are 2 panels, one piece for the front, and then I have these 2 at the back. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and coupled the skirt together. So now moving back to the top, you see, okay, for the back of the skirt, as you can see, I also left my zipper allowance there, and then the top, I've gone ahead and sewn it. So basically, like I said, you join the center to the 2 sides, both on the lining and the fabric. So this is it here. You join it at the top and then you fold back your lining this way. So now once you do that, this is what you have. So this is my cup here. So you see, and then I have the sleeve. So basically, you see on this side, I've gone ahead and cut off the excess. So now this piece that we used to elongate this part, I'm going to still cut it off, whatever that is left of it. So I'm just going to go in and just trim off this here. So now for the back, this is what the back looks like. So basically, this is the back here. Like I said, it's going to look something like this. So now guys, this is what I did here. So for the back, I just basically went ahead and sew my lining. So you're going to join the 2 sides of the back, the 2 pieces here. You see where I joined it, and then I did the same thing on the lining also. You see how I joined it, and then in between I was cutting. I made something that looks like this, and I was cutting 2 inches of it, right? 2 inches, 2 inches, just like that. So as I was going down from here, from the inside, you're going to put it from this way here, right? So you're going to be putting it in between the lining here, right? If that makes sense. So this opening part here, this part that has the 2 opening here will be on the outside of this lining. So basically it's placed this way and this way, except it's in between the lining and the cloth, right? So that once you finish and then you sew it all the way down to the end and then you flip it out, you have something that looks exactly like this. So this is basically our strap, our opening for the loop, and then the side. So now what you're going to do is just to take these 2 back panels and join it together this way. So you sew this side close and sew this side close, if that makes sense. So now once you do that, also for the sleeve, remember the sleeve is a double layer sleeve, and guys, this depends on you how you want to do it. So you can just go ahead and cut out your rectangular fabric that can be about, let's say, depending on how gathered you want it to be, it can be 13 inches of width or 14 inches of width. And what all you have to do is just to make one by the length. You can make one longer than the other by maybe 2 inches difference or 3 inches difference, right? And then all you have to do is just to join it together and then make a band and get another fabric and just make a band at the top, if that makes sense. So basically you're going to take the two of them, open it up, and then take another fabric that you have and use it to make a casing for the top, so that you can be able to pass elastic through it. But my own method here is basically I have one longer one and one, I have the 2 of them, both of them are basically almost the same length. And what I did, this is just the easiest method here. The 2 fabrics are of the same length, but what I did here is just to take one, put it here. You see the line I ruled here, which is 2 inches, 2.5 inches actually, and then I ruled a line straight down. So all I have to do is just to take this fabric and place it on that line, right? Place it on that line, and then I'm going to take this upper one, fold it this way, and then sew it 1/2 inch on top of this, right? You see the new fabric here, which is placed on this line. This line is just to help me keep my hand straight down, and then I'm just going to take this here, sew it on top of this way, like 1/2 inch on top of it this way, and then just keep sewing it down. That way I've made a casing for my elastic. This is just the easiest way to do it. Or if you want, you can pull the 2 of them to the end like this, right? And then just find a casing, a fabric that has like this width, and then fold it into two this way and make your own personal casing. It depends on you what method you want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then I'll bring it back so you guys can see before we join the sleeve to the body. So guys, this is the zip I'm going to be adding to this. Remember, we took away 1 inch here and then the extra 1 inch for the zipper. So normally it would have stopped here, I mean on top, right? Remember the 1 inch that could have joined to this zipper part to help you zip it up to the top, we cut it out. And then we also cut out another 1 inch or 1.5 here, which is going to be the space between the crisscross, right? So now when I joined the body of this, when I joined the top to this here, I had some room left like this. So you see the top at the back stops here and there's still room here. So all I did is just to get bias. This is my bias tape here. So I just took my bias tape this way and then I just joined it to this here, to the excess fabric, because if not the end would have looked straight like this, which will not be nice. So I just joined this bias here. So now I'm just going to use it to fold this in. That's, I joined the bias to the excess, like this seam allowance here is where I sewed the bias, if you see. So this seam allowance here, I just use this bias so that I can use it to tuck it in and fold it in this way. I've already done this one here. So all I have to do is just to fold this away like this and then take my zip, put it inside here and then sew the zip down to a skirt. So I'm going to fold this bias also on this side, put the other side of the skirt together and then close up the skirt. And then we'll come back and finish up the sleeve. So guys, this is it here. So my zip is done. Guys, remember, you know, this back panel, you don't have to make it straight. You see how my own is like this, just straight down this way when I cut it. You know, you can even do the one that comes in this way like this, right? Like it narrows to the end and then you have this strap coming up this way and then the opening coming in this way, you understand? So you know that kind of a corset back, you can also do that here. You don't have to keep yours straight this way, right? Instead of like that 1 inch that we came in, when you go in that 1 inch, just blend it into the zipper part of it. You can do that also. You don't have to make yours like straight this way. So now that we've gotten the back done, you see the body of the dress is ready now. You see what this part looks like. So this is it here, you see our zipper and everything. Now the next thing we have to do is just to take this now. I'm going to flip it to the back and then I'm going to go up to where the armhole is, right? And you see my sleeve is also ready. You see my armhole, the two of them are laying flat this way where the armhole is, right? And then this is my sleeve. I've done the two of them, the two layers. So now I'm just going to take one this way and then I'm going to place it on this like this. You can cut the two of them at the same time. Just take it this way, place it on top like this, making sure that the tip of this meets each other, and then you're going to mark what your armhole is supposed to be. So this is basically my armhole, and what I have to do is just to go ahead and cut it out, right? Because I'm going to be inserting it inside of this, right? So all I have to do now is just to go to the sewing machine and join it. Take it this way, join it, right side facing each other, you see? On this side, right side facing this side, and then sew it down. Do the same thing on the other side, but you don't have to sew from the top, because remember this part here, you still put this elastic inside this casing, and then when you pass the elastic, you make sure it comes out through the other end. And once you do that, then you can stitch it down and stitch it down. I know someone might ask me the length of elastic I use. Guys, it's just like until you feel like it's comfortable enough for you, like it fits better, then you just cut it off. Don't make it, some people might want it too tight and snug on their shoulder. That's okay. Some people might want it so that they a little bit slack, so that they can pull it up on top of the shoulder or bring it down. That's also okay. So I can't really tell you the length of elastic you would use. It just depends on what you want, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and do mine now, and then I'll bring it back. So I'll do it on both sides of it, and then the dress is done. All you have to do is just to make your lace the strap you're using, so that you can pass it through the openings of the back side. So guys, this is it here. This is done. This is the back. So you see I've laced up my own, and then this is the sleeve. I've joined the sleeve to it. So guys, like I was saying, I can pull this a little bit on top, almost on top of the shoulder, and then I can also do like an off shoulder. That's what I'm saying. Like it depends on you how you want your elastic to fit, right? So that's basically it here. So this is the front. Yeah, you see the curve on the neckline here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Guys, please subscribe to the channel, and thank you. Bye.